This is the regular meeting of the Parking Authority of Fairfield. Today is Thursday, October 29th, 7:30 p.m., and this call is being conducted via teleconference. Okay, Greg, you can go ahead and call the meeting to order.
Okay. This is Greg Alperin, Chair, Parking Authority, calling this meeting to order. First order of business is to act on the minutes of September 23rd, 2020. Is there a motion to approve those minutes or any questions about them?
Motion to approve.
Can you state your name, Jude?
Bob Gorman, sorry.
And that was Nelson? Oh, Rich, okay.
Rich will second. Rich Fitzgerald.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Unanimous. Okay. I only have one thing in my chair report, which is you guys should all know that the chair position is a 2-year term, which for me is up at the end of December. Eileen, is that right?
That's right.
Okay. So at the next meeting, we will have to nominate for the next chair and vice chair roles. So, Rich, I think you're probably, maybe you guys all know, but Nelson, you decided to not go forward because your term was up. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So there'll be a new person, hopefully. And then, Bob, you're also leaving. Is that still correct?
Correct.
Okay. So there'll be two new people. So, Rich, looking at you, buddy. So at the next meeting, we'll have to have that discussion because depending on if there's new people on the board at that point, which most likely there will be. But just that's all I got to say about that one. And obviously, thank you guys for your service, and obviously we appreciate it. You're both two fine young gentlemen. I'm sure you'll all be very successful in your next endeavor.
Thanks for the gracious compliment.
And that's all I got. Turn it over to Eileen.
Okay. Okay, so first I wanted to give an update on the parking system. The LPR, the final integration with the kiosk, is still going on. That should be ready very, very soon. I'm hoping within a week or so. The mobile app is ready. The signage is due this week. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to assume it's going to be in next week. And as soon as it comes, we're going to get all the signage up. Fairfield Metro, Bridgeport, West Haven. I've talked to those stations. They are all charging for their day parking. So I think once we get our signage up and everything's integrated, we should go back to enforcement of the day parking. I wanted to see what the board thoughts were on that. We have people renew for permits, so I think you can't ask. We should probably be going back to the enforcement of the day parking as well.
We should charge.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, and all the other stations have started. So I think once the signs are up, we'll put some, flyers out, letting people know. We'll give a grace period, and then we'll just start getting everything up and running, and then we can get the LPR going. And as far as enforcement, I think we'll probably make do with 1 or 2 people, police specials, that will just run it maybe once or twice in the morning and once in the afternoon. It won't be the full staff like we used to have. We don't really have that need just yet. Another thing I wanted to mention was our wait list. We've been moving through it faster than usual, and we have only 500 people on the Fairfield wait list at this point. and about 400 people on Southport. Those are the lowest numbers that I know I've seen since I've worked here. We'll be sending out another wave next week. And we also are moving the management of the list over to the Passport system as well. So we have a kind of an older system that's based on Microsoft Access, and we're scrapping that and moving everything over to Passport so it's all collectively together with the permits and the day parking.
So I mean, how many permits total have you sold?
I was just going to tell you that 1,800 permits have been sold to date.
And what did we sell for 2020?
22.
2,200. So we're 400 under, and we have 500 people on the waiting list.
Yeah, so we're going to
go through all of that.
We will. We'll go through all of it.
What's your hit rate on the list?
So far, it's about 15%.
Take it.
So it's very low. The take rate is very low. A lot of people are signing back up and putting their name back on the list because they're in a position where they're just not, they're doing work from home, but they anticipate going back in another, like a year from now. So
we'll go through the whole list in a few months.
I'm sorry?
We'll probably go through the whole list in a few months.
That's right. Yes.
So let me ask you a question. What happens if you go through all the people who have not had the opportunity yet, right? So if people are going back on the waiting list, how many of the 500 that are on Fairfield, how many have been offered and declined and are back on the waiting list?
I don't know that exact number. I can get that for you tomorrow, but I would say there's probably 50 people that did that.
Oh, okay, so then you still probably have 400 that haven't yet been offered. Okay.
Right.
So of those, are you going to send out all 400 now?
Yeah, next week we do another wave.
And will that wave be the 400?
Why don't you do everybody?
Yeah,
well, that's what we've done. We sent out all of them. With the first wave, we sent out all of the ones that didn't renew. And so, yes, next week's wave will be basically to go through the wait list, and with maybe the exception of those 50 people that just signed up, and we can tell who they are by, we have their names and we have the dates that they signed up. So we will send it to everybody, and we'll go through it. That's why when I said we'll go through the wait list a lot sooner than a couple of months, it will be within a month. Right.
So then my question is, if you go through all 400 and we haven't sold, say, the 2,200 we sold last, in 2020, then theoretically there's no such thing as the wait list anymore. So
that's right.
So then I think you'd have to notify the people that are still technically re-signed up for the wait list that there is no more waiting list, so they're going to have to self-monitor.
Yeah.
Right,
well,
because
why
keep a waiting list if there's no wait?
Right. If somebody, for instance, doesn't need it and doesn't want to pay for it, if they're not using it for the next year, then we go back to them, so they'll have to make the decision to just pull off the wait list and then sign up again in 7-8 months. They can call us and see what's happening at that point, and if we start to have if we have a wait list in a year's time from now, then they could sign up again, but we'll that out. Yeah, but I do anticipate going through the wait list completely, and I think that's great. The Southport people, a lot of the people on the Southport list are also on the Fairfield list. I think there's about half of them. So we're reaching out to them to find out if they really truly want Southport, or if they just signed up for both, thinking, whichever one comes first, I'll take it. But so we'll probably be cutting that number of the Southporters in half as well, and in which case we could probably do the same thing and get through the Southport list.
Right. Okay. I mean, that would be good. I'm sure that, certainly it would be interesting to not have a waiting list for the parking
Yeah.
lots.
I think it'd be the first time since they started it,
Right.
There's always been popular, but this is, such an unusual time. I would imagine that other towns are probably experiencing some of the same things.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah. What if you build it and nobody comes? Wow.
Yeah.
Ask the Mets.
First come, first serve. First come, first serve.
Well, that's I hate to joke, but it's conceivable, given corporate America, that the number of people that need to go to New York City in 3, 4, 5 years is half what it is now. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah. Okay. The next thing I wanted to touch to you about was the station houses. With the colder temperatures coming, it's going to be time to reopen the station houses, although I'm thinking of perhaps opening them just for the morning hours for the commuters and not having them open the entire day because of the, just the utilization of them. So that's one thing I'm thinking about. I don't know, have a date in mind, but probably within the next month. Reopen them, and so just want to get your thoughts on that, if anybody has an opinion on it.
I mean, I'm fine with opening them.
Yep.
Yeah,
Agreed.
and just for maybe a lesser period of time. Instead, I don't want to have them open till 9 o'clock at night when there's really nobody coming off the trains that late anymore.
Right.
Okay. Another thing is.
Then I would then close them at 7 o'clock. 7:30, 8 o'clock. Yeah.
No, I was thinking having them open 5 a.m. to 12 noon.
Oh.
Something like that.
Okay. Got it.
Is that what we've done in the past, Eileen, or what? I don't or were they always open?
They've always been open 5 a.m. till 9:30 at night, because there was always people going into the city at night, later in the day, 4 o'clock in the day, that kind of thing, as well as the commuters. So there was always a constant flow of people there, but now there's not at all. And the people that are there are going in, 6, 7 in the morning, 8. So I don't know if there's anyone going in at even 10 o'clock in the morning, but that's why I was thinking maybe just try it out by keeping them open till noon, see how that works. If we hear from some of the commuters that are asked that we hold them open a little bit longer or reopen them at 5 o'clock from 5 to 7, I could do that too.
No, try 5 a.m. to noon. See what gives.
Yeah.
For the
and then
3 or 4 months, it's not going to change.
Right, just so that people that do commute have a warmer place to wait for the train, because it's it's going to start getting cold once November hits. Another thing.
Let's get snow tomorrow. Let's get snow tomorrow. No, just kidding.
I think I heard that, though. You're right. Something with the hurricane, we may get snow. Another thing is, some time ago I had mentioned to you that what I wanted to do in Southport was something similar to Fairfield, where we move, kind of cluster the day parking together. And in particular with Southport, I wanted to put it close to where the kiosk is, the day parking kiosk, so that the people coming from Trinity will come right up and pass by the kiosk, and the people parking at the westbound station would be walking right past the kiosk as well. So to do that, I had mentioned that I was going to need to repaint a number of lines, to move these spaces around. The lot itself, we've talked about repaving it at some point in time. So I wanted to just not use epoxy paint, to just use the cheaper route of paint that should last for a couple years, and have all those spaces restriped. So I talked with Safety Marking, who's the company we've used for the main lot. We used them for Mill Plain. The town uses them, and they gave me a fee of $750 to do all of it, and they said they could do it all in a day. So I'd like to try and move forward with that. They can do it probably within the next 2 weeks. I don't know if the dollar amount is something you have to vote on, but I just want to be transparent and let you know about all the things that are coming up. So wanted to get your feedback again on that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to vote on it. I think the dollar amount is below our approved threshold with your
yes.
You know what you can do. So we definitely don't need to vote on it. So it's fine by me.
Mhm. Okay. So I'm going to do that and just get Southport all set up, and it will hopefully coincide with the same timing for the signage. So then everything at Southport will be ready to go, and as well as Fairfield. Let's see. Okay. Another item I wanted to talk about.
Hey, Eileen, quickly, Dan Ford is here. I've been on for the call for 9 minutes, so I just want to make sure you know that.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, how are you? Hello, everyone.
Good. Did you have a question for me, or you were just letting us know you joined?
Just letting you know I joined. I wasn't sure if we had a quorum or not. I had a little grill problem, so I was delayed getting on the call.
No problem. Okay, great. Glad you're here. So there's a replacement fee. In the past, when we had the physical hang tags, if somebody needed to change that because they bought a new car or they added a car or took off a car, we would have to reprint that hang tag, and there was a cost associated with it. It was because these were not just on paper; they're a special thing, and so it had been a fee of $15 for a number of years. Now that everything is online, there's no physical hang tag. It's just a digital permit, and there's really no cost because the customer can go in and change add their information themselves. We can see that they did that and approve it, but there's really no cost. And the problem is with the system, it will charge a $11.50 convenience fee if somebody wants to just take a vehicle or swap out a vehicle. So if you bought a new car, it'll cost you $26.50 to put that new car on the digital permit. And, a few customers have complained about this, saying that they don't see why we're charging. In the past, it was probably, we got maybe $2,000 off of replacement fees, and I would like to recommend that we drop the $15 fee because I do feel, even though I know we have, have to watch our revenue, but I think it sends a message of just kind of gouging is how the customers feel.
Yeah, Eileen, this is Rich. I actually had a friend who bought a new car in the last month and put it on, and he got charged, and he called me. I was almost embarrassed. I got to admit, it just sounds like it's one of those things, especially with everything that we're dealing with right now.
I agree.
It's almost like we should just kill it, It actually turned him off. Like, he never goes in the city. He has the tag just because, in the event. And he's like, here, I bought a new car, added it onto the thing, and I got dinged $30. And he could pay for it, but it was just the whole process just felt really bad. And I was like, all right, I said, let's see what we can do. So this is perfect timing. But I would say kill it, and I would be in favor of that.
But wait a second. Why do we? I mean, if we're going to the license plate reader, we don't even need them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
it's just you add
a non-issue, really.
Fee. Yeah.
No.
Unless I'm not understanding something.
Okay, so if
there's a convenience fee.
let's say you have a Volkswagen, and you have that in your account as your car, and then you buy a Jeep. So you go online, you change your car information from the Volkswagen to the Jeep. You will be charged $15 because you're, in a sense, making a change to your permit. And the way that the system works, and we can't do anything about this part, is it charges a convenience fee of $11.50 on top of that. So you get charged $26.50 just to go on and say, I now own a Jeep instead of a Volkswagen.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. That's crazy. Yeah, let's kill it.
Yeah, like I said, people had to come in and we had to actually have a physical permit. There was a little bit of a rationale with it, but now it's all electronic, so there's really no cost.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to charge for an electronic update of your information.
In my mind, when you pay your money for a permit, you're allowed 3 vehicles. We should be indifferent with technology where it is, which 3 vehicles there are and when they're moved around. I don't see a problem.
Right. Yeah.
I think we all agree.
Great.
Okay. So motion. Do we need to motion to do that? Wait, do we need to make a motion to approve that?
Yes, you do.
Good.
Okay.
Yes, you do.
Thank you, Jude.
Yep. Yes, you do. Yep.
So I'd like to
motion. The policy and procedure.
I'd like to make a motion to eliminate the replacement fees.
Nelson seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's Rich. Yep.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much. The other item I wanted to mention was the security cameras at the train station. We have these security cameras that were put in, I don't know how many years ago, but they were put in originally to watch the bicycle racks. And the last few years, I've worked with this company a bit more and found out, that they were able to do a little bit more than that. So we can actually, view through the cameras from our office. The police use the cameras if there's an incident. And we found that we could use more cameras just to, we've had some problems with people around the station house. And the cameras are not good. There's a couple of cameras that are decent, but a lot of them are really old. They don't work half the time. And I just don't want to keep putting money into this thing. Like if they'll call me and say, well, you need to replace that camera, that'll cost $500 or that'll cost $1,000. I'm thinking about maybe putting out an RFP to look at, some other vendors that can as well, and the current vendor is welcome to apply. But just to get some ideas of what kind of video, feeds that we can get, and possibly add some cameras. Like right now, there's no camera in the Southport Station House, whereas there are cameras inside to Fairfield. I don't know why Southport didn't get one inside, but we should have that, just in case we have an issue inside the station house.
How many cameras are you talking about, Eileen? I mean, across both properties?
Right now, there's about 12. There's about 18 cameras.
Holy
and
cow.
I think we need a couple others, and then we need some of the ones that we have moved, or we need to get ones that have like night vision, and we need to have ones that actually can circle around and don't, as opposed to ones that just are fixated on one particular spot. There's a lot of cameras that you can actually rotate, so some of them would be an upgrade, but I thought maybe it'd be worthwhile to do an RFP and see what we come up with, and then we could, look at them and make the decision at that point. But
I think that's going to be very expensive. 18 cameras is going to, I think, is probably close to 20 grand. Would be my guess.
I don't disagree. It's going to be expensive,
but the some of them, but the older ones, I mean, they don't even, you can't even get a picture out of them.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, the new cameras are very, super high def, and they're perfect. I was just going to have them put around our property, and I couldn't believe how much it costs for 4 cameras. It was 4, and it may equal more than that. Especially,
it may cost it may cost a bunch of money, but I think it'd be worth the RFP to just know what's out there, what it costs.
Oh yeah, no, of course,
you can make a
decision. Of course. I'm just saying that it's it's not like buying 3 Nest cameras and popping them up.
No, I knew that. I don't know what originally the parking authority paid for the current system. I know that we've had to replace a camera at some point, and they've been $500 or whichever per camera. Yeah. But my frustration is that we don't the footage that you get from it isn't really worth what we have.
Well, you probably also don't need, with how much better I'm sure the new cameras are to whatever is there now, you probably don't need 18 cameras because the newer stuff can probably pick up more around whatever it's looking at than just single directional cameras. But I mean, it's fine. I think we're all agreeable to you putting out an RFP for this.
How often do you look at the cameras? How often are
we
they
have them on every day, and we do check things. Now that nobody's in the station house, we're not looking as much as that. But no, we do look at it. The police will come over and look at them, or they can pull them up sometimes at their end. If there's an incident, we've used them for. We had somebody who was parking in. A couple people were parking in handicap parking illegally, and the police were able to use that feed to get get those people. But there's been other issues that have come up. We've had somebody at Southport that was hanging around the back of the station house, and we were finding crack pipes and things like that. So we use it for different things. I think it's a good security just to kind of have those cameras out there and give some people a little bit of assurance. The DOT is putting, and Metro North are putting a lot of surveillance cameras on all the platforms. They've been doing that for a while, and they are not up and running in all places yet, but they're hoping that I'm hoping that once they have that, if we ever had an incident on the platform, we would be able to, get some information from them, and then vice versa, if they needed it from us, we'd have something that we could help them with. But that's not my main goal. Is just that I think we're finding that when we look at the cameras, we can't see things.
But do you have any idea, these incidences that you're talking about, is that like once a week, once a month, a couple of times a year? Do you have any idea?
It's, it goes in spurts. Like lately we've had a lot of problems with some people around the New Haven, Fairfield New Haven station house. Somebody tore off some doors off of the recycling centers. They are turning over the garbage. Things like that, and so we could see what was going on, what time of day this was happening. Graffiti, things like that, that kind of thing that we can see as well.
Okay.
We've had customers that have asked us, do you have video in the whole lot, because maybe their car was hit, and that I'm not proposing, but I know it would be good to just have it like a little bit broader around the station house where the drop-offs are and that kind of thing.
Right. Okay, well, let's get an RFP out.
Yeah, and then when we see what the cost is, then we can, you can determine whether or not you think it's worth doing. But I just wanted to bring it up because it is something that we, like I said, Nelson. I know it sounds crazy, like how often are we using them, but we do find that we are looking at them a lot. So, and just some incidences that have come up in the past, Apaches and so on. It would be good to at least take a look at what the cost would be to upgrade them.
Okay.
So I'll get back to you as soon as I have an RFP. If anyone wants to read it before it goes out, I'm more than happy to share that with you. Otherwise, I can just let you know when the RFP is ready to go, and I'll work with purchasing to have it posted on the right websites. And I think they usually give a couple weeks for people to respond. So, by hopefully before the end of the year, we would have all the bids in and we'd be able to discuss it.
Okay, sounds good to me.
And that's my part. Does anyone have any questions for me about anything at the office?
Executive.
Anything on the leases?
That's the next part.
The lease with the state, you mean?
Oh.
Or you mean with the town? No, we had a date set. We were talking about some dates, and then I think we were going to, the board was going to talk about just some items first. I can't remember now what we were saying, but I don't have my notes in front of me. But no, it's on hold. I think they're waiting to hear from us as to, with some dates that we would want to meet with them to discuss the renewal of those leases.
Well, I think we wanted to finalize what we were going to ask for before we go into a meeting to discuss a lease. I mean, the lease discussion is rather simple. It's we want to ask if we want to ask for a concession, then we need to be able to present why we're asking for that with documentation as to losses this year and projected into next year as to why we're asking for a decrease of rent. Same thing we've asked people to provide to us, we need to ask for. We need to provide to the town. Otherwise, they're just going to say why, and we're going to not be able to speak to it. So that's what we have to do. I think you did some of that.
I did a lot. I did some forecasts.
Eileen, not to interrupt, but your leases are not on the agenda right now, and you have to be very careful. If leases come under the contract, you have it under executive session.
No, this town leases weren't what the executive session was going to be. So,
but you don't have leases on your agenda either, correct?
Yeah, right.
It's up to you, but that's okay. You can add it.
Do they have to make a motion to add it to the agenda?
No, you can just add it. Yeah, they can make the motion to add it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just wrap up quick then. I had done some forecasts, and that I shared with you and Nelson, and we can revisit them and update. I can update it, and then maybe go from there.
Okay. Okay. Is that it? Do we go to executive session now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. What do you?
Can someone make a motion? Yeah.
Oh, I make a motion to move to executive session.
I second it.
Oh, that was Nelson. Okay, Eileen, I'm out, and you can. I'm just going to disconnect, Eileen, and I will talk to you about whatever any motions or votes at the end of the meeting.
Okay, I'll come down and see you
Thank
tomorrow.
You.
All right.
Perfect. Okay. Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Bye. Thanks, Jude.
Bye.
Thank you, Jude.
Bye. Thanks. Not at all. Bye. 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 Bye.
Okay, so now we're going to start the executive session.
Okay, is the recording stopped? I didn't think I heard.
Oh
anything.
yeah, right. Hold on. Sorry. Good thing you said that.